You cannot even begin to reach your fullest potential without asking this very important question. Who am I? Not who you think you are, not who other people think you are, not who you should be, but who you really are. The sixth day of the second month in the year, Mears expanded her freedom. Who am I even? I spent only 1 week watching videos, reading and writing about resetting, reinvention, and improving my life. I did the whole nine, consumed all these things, learning how to apply them or practice them in my life and implement them within my day-to-day. And on the first day of the second month of this year, when I was so excited about writing out my planner based off of everything that I've learned, I sat in my bed deep in my thoughts and my hand was still. I couldn't write not a single thing. So what do? What everybody says. Think about your day. Write down every single thing, every hour of each day. So that's exactly what I did. I wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, go to the gym. After the gym, I feed London. I walk London. I take a shower. I go to work. When I have a break on work, I eat. I walk London again. I get back to work, get off of work, after work, walk London again. Some days I might study web development, some days I might design something, some days I might read or write or do whatever I want to do in that free time. Other days I might be editing a video. Who knows what I do after work? Might go to my friends or something, may not. Boom, walk London again. The only thing that's consistent about this is walking London, which I have to do, which I need to do, which is necessary for her benefit. By the way, London is my dog if y'all don't know. Then I eat, brush my teeth again, wash my face again, make some tea. Maybe watch JJK. Maybe I want to read before bed. Who knows? Then I repeat. I got somewhere though. I can write all of this in my calendar. I figured out a plan for my next day because it looks so similar to my previous day, and everything's overlapping and everything makes sense because I wrote something down. I'm tracking my inconsistent days. Absolute shit if you ask me. I wanted to write down what I've learned, what I've consumed, a hierarchy of goals that could be spread throughout the year that's broken down into months and weeks and days. Low friction task every single day actualizing these goals. But I realized I don't know who I am. Not like on a surface level, like I don't really know who I am on a deeper level. I don't actually know who I am. I don't actually know what I want in this life. I don't actually know what my goals are. I don't know myself as well as I think I do. So how can I work towards these goals when the uncertainty of who I am roams through my head? I need to be allowed the space and the time to recognize the things that help define me and my identity. I need to gain awareness that I didn't have before and come at it from a non-threatening perspective. And I say non-threatening perspective because a lot of people don't realize that they don't know who they really are, or they're ashamed to acknowledge that who they think they are might not actually be who they are. A lot of people don't actually know themselves. They don't know what they don't like. They don't know what they do like. They aren't aware of being in a position of not knowing oneself. But I'm glad that I'm able to be honest with myself and recognize these things and, let my thoughts out about these things because it's nothing to be ashamed of. And honestly, it's the first step in clarity and self-actualization. I was so ready to jump on the ship and go with the flow of what I think or thought that I wanted when I'm not even acknowledging the consequences or repercussions that come with that. I'm gonna take a step back from journaling about figuring myself out or figuring out who I am, and more so journaling about the journey to self-identification and doing a self-identity experiment. Figuring out what I can't stop thinking about, figuring out what comes to me naturally, but more so what I'm naturally drawn to. What do I do that makes me lose track of time? And focus on a specific thing for a couple of months to see if I could become obsessed with something. And I have an addictive personality, so it'll be easy to distinguish between something that I'm just in for a phase or a moment and something that I'm actually obsessed with, actually drawn to. I'm understanding that my old identity is dissolving and my new one is yet to be found. And this experiment is going to be less of finding out who I am and more so finding a problem that I'm obsessed with fixing, or finding my purpose that I can work towards so that I can uncover my identity. I want it to be something that's very natural, not something that's forced, or not something that I just write down or think of just because I'm engulfed in a society that pushes for self-identity and growth, and I don't want to be influenced at all throughout this journey. I want to actually take the time to understand and know myself for who I am. People might think of it in the same realm of figuring yourself out and learning your identity, but yeah, I mean, it is in the same realm, but it's more of a specific lens that I'm looking in that will help, my direction be a little bit more clear. It's just for me to, kind of bring back that idea of directional progress and focus on that. And as I begin this experiment, I have to continuously revisit the idea and the meaning of what identity is. Being that identity is the complex, evolving, and deeply personal combination of values, beliefs, memories, and experiences that defines who you are, distinguishing you from others and providing a sense of purpose and purpose and continuity. I can't say that. I can't say that goddamn word. Continuity. I be talking so much. Gotta take a sip of water. Shit. Whew. Anyways, I've always had a very generic definition or understanding of what identity truly means. Or I might hit on some points and forget other points, or I might just completely lose sight of what identity means entirely. But the more I understand it, the more I understand myself, and the more I'll understand my purpose. Over the course of this experiment, I wrote down a list of questions that I'll be asking myself to help with this process. What problems have I personally experienced that I have overcome? What do people naturally ask me for help with? What topic could I read for 5 hours straight? If I could build something and no one would ever see it, what would that be? And then I'm gonna pick one of those answers that has the most energy and create something related to it, whether that be writing 500 words about it, making something, anything that's related to it, teaching someone I know about it, which is probably going to be one of my favorite things to do, because the more I understand something, the more I like to talk about it. And if I could talk about it, that means that I know more about it than I think or understand that I do. And then the last one is start researching the next level of it. I also wrote, this is not to find the answer of these questions, but to activate the discovery process. Identity emerges through creation, not contemplation. I cannot begin to do all these amazing things and be successful and be, so future oriented when, one, I don't really know what success means to me. I don't know, what all these things mean to me. And on top of that, I can't even define what I'm beginning. What am I beginning? What am I starting? If I don't know the end goal, or at least have an idea of what it is that I want in life, I cannot begin to work towards it. I cannot start, learn, and finish if I don't know what I'm starting. And I think that that's actually what I'm trying to get to. That's the whole point of this. I sat back and I understood that I have a desire to do better or be better, but I can't exactly define what better is or understand what it is that I'm fiending for if I don't know truly what it is that I want and what it is that I don't want. There's two sides of identity that I'm understanding right now. What it is that I do want and what it is that I don't want. And I think by starting there and reeling those things in, I'll have a better answer, understanding of myself. The whole goal is to start, learn, finish. But in order to do that, I have to know who I truly am.